Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Hope everybody's doing well. I just had a couple things I need to drop in y'all spirit because I just noticed a couple of things that are happening um, just out in the media on social media. And so I just want to bring your attention to it so that you won't be deceived as we go into this election season. But I also want to reiterate how important we are to everything that runs in America. So, um, as we go through these different things and it's so confusing and everybody is tired, it's just toxic, we're stressed, just understand that this country cannot stand with without us, and they need us in their schemes and all these different things in order for it to work. Even if it doesn't work right, they still require us to be a part of the system. And so as we wake up and refuse to participate in it, you're just going to see a lot more trickery. And so that's what I want to talk about today. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is um, the new Black news network. And I want to shout out Beatzilla because I was watching him the other I think it was like Friday night, and he was talking about it, and I hadn't heard anything about it, but as he was talking about it, I was going online and I was looking it up, and it was just this whole other layer that he didn't necessarily get into, but I want to talk about it a little bit because it ties into what he was talking about, just about how the media is recognizing that Black people are not really paying attention to the mainstream media anymore. And it's not just Black people, it's people in general. Like, after the media helped Trump get elected, then they tried to act like they didn't know what happened. And then in addition to that, like, we lived through those 4 years of him. Like, the last year was just tumultuous because of COVID. And so between the Trump administration lying about just everything about the beginning of the pandemic, to the way that the media basically caters and ignores white supremacy and how they have allowed this environment to be as it is, because they benefit from chaos. um, we are starting to put two and two together, and so they gotta come up with some new tricks. So today I'm gonna show you a trick, and it hasn't, I haven't seen these people yet, but I'm gonna talk to you just about some of the things that I noticed. So I'm gonna share my screen. Hold on a second. All right, and before we get into it, please don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, if you're new here. If you like this type of content, I like teaching, so I typically try not to do a bunch of gossip or whatever. I try to do things that are going to help Black people navigate politics, government, and just what is going on every day, because it plays a role in our family health, our individual health, mental and physical. It dictates pretty much everything: how we work, how we live, how food, just our basic necessities. And so I tend to talk about those types of things that will impact us, and I want us to be aware of what is going on. So the first thing I want to talk about before I go back to this capital B is that uh, there have been reports lately just about the mainstream media actually losing viewers. So this actually isn't what I wanted to get into. So the first story is about MSNBC. And I read this piece on Adweek, and they were, basically talking about MSNBC and CNN have both been bleeding viewers because people are just pretty much tired of the dramatics. And so this again is on Adweek, and the title of it says November 21 ratings MSNBC is losing total viewers, but remains a top 5 cable network. So see how, they always try to cover up the bad part and add something good, to pep up the feelings of the network or not hurt anybody's feelings. Like that's just a blanket way that white supremacy does business. That's how white people operate. So when you see it, you just kind of, that comma that but cancels out everything else. So they want you to believe that MSNBC is still a top 5 network. But the truth of the matter is that fewer people are watching mainstream media and the news because it is so unreliable. And so everybody's figuring out it's just all propaganda. And slowly but surely, people are not watching those media outlets, and they're going other places to get their news. They're coming to New Black Media, grassroots people on YouTube. They're going to different websites. And so people are actually trying to figure out a way to get what they need to survive. And they're not getting it from white supremacist institutions because those institutions now can produce propaganda. So they're not for our benefit. They're only for the benefit of the people who actually own them. And, as you can see, only a handful of people own all the media in the country, so you're not really getting anything that's unbiased. Everything is owned by, same type of people, rich people. So here it says, despite dropping -9% in total primetime viewers, MSNBC didn't lose any adult 25 through 54 relative to October. The network stayed flat in the measurement, both in prime time and in total day. MSNBC once again beat CNN in average total viewers across the day parts. However, it came up short to CNN among adults 25 through 54, both in daytime and primetime total. So at the top of this, and I skipped over this, but it says bad news. MSNBC delivered its smallest average total audience in prime time since 2016, averaging 1.9 million viewers in a day part. And that's the 0.9% decline from October. The network also shed -3% in total day viewers from October, which averages about 660,000 people. So that is a lot of people who are not, who are checking out of mainstream media. And, it says a lot about the state of the country. It's like we can't trust our media. And then it also says that people are looking for something different, and they're not finding that in mainstream media. So what you're seeing lately is, or hearing, there's a lot of shuffling around of Black people in particular, because everybody knows that Black people consume more media than other groups. And sadly, we don't like to read. We like to watch and have people break down information and tell it to us. So we watch more news than other people. And so because we don't read and we don't check out alternative sources, we don't really have our own newspapers like a lot of other groups. We get the perspectives of white media. And so lately, Black people, because of politics and because of just the way that mainstream media operates, they haven't really been watching mainstream media. And so it is reflected here, and the numbers are steadily going down. Now, this is from December 2021, but I just read something here on MSNBC that says CNN is also losing viewers. CNN is doing really bad. And this came out last year as well. And although this is from last year, I also saw something recently. So in June 2021, CNN had an average of 580,000 total daily viewers, a drop of 49% compared to June 2020. The network also lost 59% of its viewers in the critical 25 through 54 age group, with an average of 133,000 total day viewers in the demographic for the month of June. CNN lost the most viewers out of all three major network news. MSNBC had the second largest drop in viewership and almost 37% of its total audience compared to June of last year. The network had an average of 763,000 total viewers in June 2021 and 99,000 viewers in the 25 through 54 age demographic, a drop of 45%. And it says Fox had the largest number of viewers and the least substantial drop since last year. So people are leaning more to conservative news for whatever reason, and it's not always um, because people are racist. Some people are checking out the conservative news outlets because they're tired of the LGBTQ agenda. They're tired of watching women bash men. They're tired of women being on TV all day long, and they want a different type of vibe. So there are a lot of different reasons, and also because although Fox News is also a propaganda outlet, they provide a different type. Sometimes they provide information that is not conspiracy, but the other networks don't talk about it. So people are checking out their options, and Fox News is one of those outlets that is not losing viewers. So you're going to see these other networks like MSNBC and CNN start shuffling their daytime lineups, and that's what they're doing. So if you haven't heard about, Joy Reid probably maybe losing her show next month. They're adding Simone Sanders. They shuffled around a couple of other women, but for the most part, outside of Morning Joe, the majority of MSNBC is they have female news anchors, and people are like really starting to become aware and pay attention to the exclusion of men and this progressive push toward more liberal views and more liberal leanings. And so people are not really about that. That's not what they want. So they're looking for alternatives. And so that's what you're also seeing. But what I want to focus on is how a lot of these networks are adding Black people. And so that tells you that they miss us. They're bleeding Black viewers. And Black viewers are, we are diverse. We're not a monolith like anybody else. We're also not driven by we are, race conscious. So I will say we do look for um, media that represents our views and people who look like us. But now we're getting to the point where just looking like us isn't good enough anymore. People used to be able to pass off any type of information. As long as they were Black, we would watch them. And so now people are realizing that, hey, all the Black people don't necessarily have the best interest of Black people. And so we are checking out Black people's paperwork now. And so a lot of Black people that they have lined up are not passing the mustard. In addition to the diaspora wars that are taking place on social media and other places. So people are really paying attention to what is happening. And so what the mainstream media and white media are doing is they're looking for new Black people, because the Joy Reids and the Tiffany Crosses and the Zerlina Maxwell and Eddie Glaude, they're not drawing black people anymore. So their numbers are up. So as you can see, I don't know if you've heard, like CNN added Keisha Bottoms, the former mayor of Atlanta, to their lineup. Now they're already sinking, but they think that adding another black woman politician is going to increase their numbers. And they're doing everything they can to try to get viewership up for the 2022 elections, which is not going to work because, you know, it's more to politics than just putting a black person on TV to tell us, you know, the dominant society's agenda. We don't care about that anymore. So CNN is adding Keisha Bottoms. MSNBC is adding Simone Sanders, and I can't remember. I think it's someone else. And also, even on the daytime, NBC is doing a huge shakeup. So I heard that Hoda, I think it's her name, Hoda Kotb, Hoda. Let's see, Hoda Kotb. So I heard that Hoda may be going to, let me see if I can find it. She may be going to another news network because they are looking to shake up. NBC is basically shaking up their whole network. They're looking for black people because black people are not identifying with these new black people, these biracial black people, these racially ambiguous black people. They're not attracting the black viewership that they once did. And so now everybody's trying to rustle up black people out of the bushes and figure out, you know, how are we going to get black people to come back to mainstream media? And it's not going to work. So Beatzilla did a story on the new black media, and he was talking about this network I had never heard of called Capital B. So Capital B is basically this new network that came out of nowhere, and it's based in Atlanta, and all these people we've never heard of before, they suddenly have a network. So one of the things I'm gonna share with you to pay attention to. So this is a new network. It's in Atlanta. It's all these black people. They talk about black issues. It's new. Just popped up this month, as a matter of fact. So first thing I want you to look at is the topics. So the topics that they focus on are healthcare, criminal justice, and politics. Whose topics are those? Those are Democratic Party platform agenda items that we do not pick. Like they tell us, this is what we're going to talk about for y'all. Nobody asked us if we wanted to have a conversation about health. Yes, health is important to us, but getting the police off our ass and doing something about racism and inequity is far more important to me and a lot of black people. So, you know, here is healthcare, here criminal justice. We want to do something about prison reform. We want to do something about, whatever the Democratic Party presents to us, we're just supposed to eat it up. But it's not really what we want, the grassroots want. And so pay attention to that. Politics. Again, black people want relief. We don't give a shit about politics except for when we vote, we want something in exchange for it. And if we vote and we're not getting something in exchange for it, we don't care. Like we're just checking out now. And so I found it interesting that these are the topics that they have, their main topics. So that to me, that lets me know that this news network is like coming out of left field. But before I go forward, let me tell you, I saw this. So capital B is supposed to be a nonprofit newsroom. And it was created by someone, I don't know who Akato Afori Ada is, um, or Lauren Williams. And it says they raised $9 million, including $95,000 from small donors to found this new startup. After leaving positions at the Trace and Vox. So um, here is the most important part I want you to check out. So they've since come up with an impressive $9 million, including $95,000 from 550 small donors. The Ford Foundation, the American Journalism Project, John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, and the Yellow Chair Foundation are among their largest donors. All those are white-run, old white money foundations that are backing this group. And why do you think they are funding this project? It is because they are vested in keeping us asleep, not because they care about us having news. The other thing is, these people, we don't know what kind of ties they left white organization. They're getting money from a white organization to start a black news network. So you already know what the influence is going to be. So I was very shocked when I saw this, because that means it's not really grassroots. It's more of a it's almost like a black news channel. So if you know anything about the Black News Channel, you can kind of get a sense of what it's about. It's like a Black Faces, but it's funded by this Indian business owner. And then, although it was supposed to be Black, you always saw tinges of other groups connected. So it really was people of color. And Black wasn't really thoroughly disaggregated. Who they were targeting, we don't know. So I wanted to show you, when these new organizations pop up, find out who funded them, where did the money come from, because that will tell you who they are actually catering to. They're not necessarily helping us. As a matter of fact, they are not helping us. You could bet grandma on that. So here is where you meet the staff. So Gavin Godfrey is Gavin Godfrey is the Atlanta editor. Says he's whose work and voice have appeared on CNN, NPR, Vice, Atlanta Magazine. He serves as the editor of Canopy Atlanta's West End issue, and he's a member of the National Association of Black Journalists. Jewel Wicker is editor at large. She won Amby and Webby Awards. She has worked as a staff reporter for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the Patriot News, Penn Live in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Adjoa Danso is Capital B's Atlanta's community engagement editor. Danso previously served as digital content coordinator for CARE USA. That's not even really having anything to do with news. Danso worked as associate editor at Creative Loafing Atlanta and co-produced the podcast About South. Danzo's words about food, culture, and more have appeared in Canopy Atlanta, Bon Appetit, and Teen Vogue. You see where I'm going. This person right here don't have nothing to do with us, didn't have anything to do with us. Bon Appetit is not us. Canopy Atlanta, I don't even know what that is, but I'm going to look it up before we get off. Teen Vogue, we definitely know that's a target audience of white young women. Kenya Hunter is the health reporter at Capital Bees, formerly served as the education reporter at Richmond Times. Hunter is a Georgia native whose first job was at the Rome News Tribune in Rome, Georgia, and her reporting has appeared in MTV News. Again, all white institutions. Sydney Sims is Capital B's general assignment reporter, Atlanta native, has bylines in the Macon Telegraph, WABE News. She wrote for the student newspaper, The Plainsman, interned at Heritage Radio Network, and the Auburn Villager in Columbus and the Valley. So again, I don't know any of these organizations. I can't speak to, you know, whether or not these people have experience talking to Black people, speaking for Black people, but based on, you know, some of the stuff that I'm seeing, it is very interesting. All right. Capital B leadership team, Lauren Williams, Chief Executive Officer, co-founder of Capital B. Prior to Vox, she was an editor at Mother Jones and The Root. I know you know about Mother Jones and The Root. They have our faces, but they're not funded by us. So that's a little troubling. Akoto Afori Atta is co-founder, chief audience officer. She's the senior editor at, she held positions at, as senior editor of Essence Magazine, associate editor of The Root, and in 2015 was a John S. Knight Journalism Fellow. John S. Knight is one of the funders that funds this particular paper. Jillian White is Vice President of Programming and Revenue at Capital B. White has worked as editor and columnist at Kiplinger. It's a white newspaper. She's a member of the Philadelphia Inquirer's Board of Directors. Simone Sebastian comes to Capital B from the Washington Post, where she was the America editor and co-led the award-winning George Floyd's America project, as well as the Pulitzer Prize finalist coverage of the 2019 mass shootings in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio. Sebastian was previously an editor for the Houston Chronicle. Her reporting has appeared in the New York Times, San Francisco Chronicle, and the Detroit Free Press. So as you can see, these people come from all these white backgrounds, and suddenly they're going to start a newspaper for Black people. And they are funded by white people. So here are the people. These are the faces of the people that I read to you earlier. Notice it is lots of Black women. You only see one Black man. So that tells you what type of topics you're going to be getting, and that's going to be problematic. going forward, because you know we already have that every place else. One of the other things that I wanted to show you is that this capital B, they did like this huge full out press corps. And they were on NPR talking about this February the 6th. They were also talking about capital B pretty much. I want to say it was in the Washington Post. So here is a piece in NPR. This is here in Florida. So this came out on February the 6th. So I guess, you know, NPR put it out across all of their affiliates. But there was a piece in, here it is, Washington Post, I'm sorry. So here in the Washington Post, this capital B showed up. And I thought it was interesting because it's behind a paywall, so I'm probably not going to be able to see it. But what was interesting was that, you know, one newspaper decided that it was going to talk about a black newspaper, which I found interesting because it's competition. You don't typically find that. So their new site, here they talk about in the Washington Post, the Ford Foundation and American Journalism Project are their biggest funders, and a staff of 16 they expect to expand to 27. So, you know, these people that come from these white backgrounds, they come from these, and a lot of these people are not African American black people. So what they care about and what they focus on and how they tell stories is going to be totally different than, you know, perhaps what we talk about. Like they may be able to talk about some topics that are, you know, tied to today, but they're not going to be able to tell the rich stories in an in-depth way that like descendants of enslaved people that have been here for generation and, you know, after generation. A lot of these people don't have these connections. And so, you know, what you're seeing here is the white foundations, white media, they are coming in and they are pulling grandfathered black people into the fold, and they are basically changing the definition of what black is and what black people should care about and who black people listen to and who speak for black people. And so I just want to tell you about this because I want you to pay attention. Like this is happening right before our eyes. And here's a picture of these three ladies. Akoto Ofori-Atta is left, Lauren Williams is the middle, and Jillian White. These are like the founders and the heads of this organization. So I want you to be aware that there's a lot of shifting in the black media, with just a lot of things. The mainstream media, they're bleeding black people, and so they're backdooring, trying to find new ways and new people to talk to us because they want to make sure that they keep our eyes and ears, because without that we may decide to, you know, figure some things out and check out of the system. The system relies on us to stay lost, in chaos, believing people who don't speak for us, and listening to talking points that we did not create. And so, you know, I really want you all to be aware of what is happening. In addition to, let me try to not share this. Stop share. Okay. In addition to, um, we're getting a lot of symbolism from the Democratic Party. So they are, Jim Clyburn introduced a bill to make the Lift Every Voice song the national anthem. Who cares if the song? I don't care if uh, they make Back That Ass national. I don't care about the national anthem. We don't have to have a national anthem. Black people need relief. Black people want help. Black people want jobs. Black people want opportunities. Black people want equity. Black people want reparations. Black people want something done about white supremacy and the police. We want a whole lot of stuff. Nobody asked for a song. Nobody even suggested, hey, would you like, you know, to consider making, Lift Every Voice the national anthem? Like, I don't understand what is wrong with these old white people. Just coming up with stuff that we supposed to be excited about. Like, that's not helping anybody. Who cares about a song? They're not making songs for white people. White people not asking for national anthem. They got their national anthem and they're happy. They're asking for substantive things, student loan forgiveness, just all kinds of stuff. But we get songs. We ask for something and we don't get what we ask for. And so, also when we're talking about these black people who are on the news talking for us, you have to remember these same black people will go and get people like Jim Clyburn to come on TV and tell us, oh yes, black people, y'all want a black hymn from the civil rights era in exchange for your vote. We doing something for you. Y'all better wake up and smell the coffee. Like, these people have no respect for us whatsoever. And in part is because we have allowed them to disrespect us for so long, and we have been asleep for so long. Like, we just have not been really paying attention to the ways in which they don't respect us. And so when you go and turn on your TV and you see all these black people lying to you, and these black people trying to tell you what you see with your own eyes isn't happening, it's very hard to maintain respect for them or any institution, because we can see, we can hear. So just be on the lookout for black people who are moving shifty and shady. Be aware that these white-owned media outlets are not necessarily our friend. In this hour, they are bleeding black people, and they need black people, not just black people, but I'm speaking, particularly for black people. They need us to watch their nonsense so that their plans will work. If we don't watch, then they lose power. When we start watching other people and start looking at other perspectives and trusting other people that we picked on our own, they did not pick for us, their spells are broken off of us. We see the truth. Our eyes are open. And so you can't just, continue to watch those people day after day after day, and you can see the truth. And so, just pay attention to the black people. When you start seeing black people start shuffling around, especially in a election year, it means something. It means that we're doing something. We're not watching, we're not paying attention, and they are concerned. So they are trying to do whatever they can do to get our attention back. And so I'm asking you to continue doing what you're doing. If you're not watching mainstream media, good. Look for other sources. There are plenty of other sources. There's so many good people teaching and talking on YouTube every day of the week. They're not mainstream. You're not hearing about them. Sometimes things come up in your news feed. Just don't trust everything that comes up in your news feed, because sometimes the algorithms are testing to, and trying to put, just like the mainstream media, trying to put stuff in your news feed, trying to force you to pay attention to things that they think you may be interested in, and it's really not a choice. It's like they're forcing you to pay attention to things that you necessarily are not necessarily good for you or beneficial to you. So in this hour, we have to really pay attention to what is being put before us. And again, people don't want to admit that we've been lied to. We have been lied to. We have been tricked. They have been doing all kinds of stuff since 2016, basically 2015, 2016, when it was Trump and Hillary Clinton running for office, and they doodled up um, Bernie Sanders' opportunity to be president. Like, I've really paid attention. I supported President Obama in 2008. I worked for his campaign. After he bailed out Wall Street, I was good on him because I had a lot of people that got caught up in those adjustable mortgages, and they lost their homes, they lost their money, so the fact that he allowed them to be bailed out, and he bailed out the auto companies, and I was pissed about that because the auto companies, 2 decades earlier almost had shipped our jobs overseas. So, they screwed us, and then now they want to bail out, and they get a bailout, and we couldn't get anything. People were losing their jobs, and so it's just a real tough time. And then you just saw this white anger grow, not only because Obama was in office, because everybody was being impacted by, these politicians who make these decisions, make these deals, and then people just kind of just forget. They have short-term memories, and they don't understand how politics works. And so this has been going on for quite some time, but 2016 really opened my eyes to the games that the media and the government plays with voters, and then they pit us against each other. Um, we are arguing about race, we are arguing about class, we're arguing with immigrants, and at the end of the day, it's all white supremacy that led to all of these issues, and we still can't get anything done about it. So pretty much people are on their own now. We're all on our own, and we have to do the best that we can to try to navigate what's coming. The empire is failing. The empire is going to crash. Nobody knows the day nor the hour, but what we do know is that we have to, um, trust our guts. We have to stop trusting the people that got us here, basically, because those people rely on us to stay ignorant and stupid, and they're going to steal our money and tell us it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, until one day you're going to wake up and the sky's on your porch because you kept watching TV and they kept telling you everything was okay. You kept scrolling your social media feed. And not that everything has to be doom or gloom or happy and chipper, but we have to have reality in this hour, because if you're a responsible person, you're looking out for your family, you're looking out for your friends, you're looking out for your community. If you're a leader, you need to know so that you can protect the people who are vulnerable. We need people to look out for our seniors. People, it's just a lot of stuff going on. People who have wealth are trying to figure out how to protect it because hard times are coming. People who don't have wealth are trying to figure out how they're going to survive these years of transition as we transition to whatever type of government that we have. So just be mindful of what you consume, and be mindful that people are really paying attention to what Black people watch. They're paying attention to who we're getting our information from, and the mainstream media and the politicians, they don't want to acknowledge that there's a Black grassroots that is talking to people and people are listening to. You think about somebody like Vicky Dillard. She has, over 100,000 followers. Professor Black Truth and Jason Black of the Black Channel. They have, probably 200 and something thousand followers together. And some of the other people like TD News Hip Hop, Bzilla. If you add up all the different 1,000 here, 5,000, 10,000, the African Diaspora News Network, they have, over 1 million viewers or followers. I'm sorry, 1 million followers. A lot of people are not watching mainstream media. They sign up for notifications and they get those notifications and they get whatever information. They get a totally different view from Black people that you're not going to get on mainstream media, because mainstream media is there to preserve itself, and to preserve politicians and the system. The Black grassroots and people that are, bringing you news from other vantage points are there for us. And so people are finding their way to those people and to those channels, and they're not going back to mainstream media because they are learning now, I've been lied to. Like, hey, I'm waking up. So in addition to paying attention to these, the shuffling of Black people and these new Black media outlets that are popping up trying to get our attention, just pay attention. If it's people that you've never seen before, never heard of, you can say the same thing about me, but I'm not affiliated with any news outlet. I'm just a person telling you what I get from the spirit realm. I don't have an agenda. My agenda is to protect Black people, to make sure Black people are well, to try to educate and teach Black people, because we don't have many resources. Thanks to integration, we gave our best to the dominant societies, institutions, and structures, and so now we don't have anything. So everybody's kind of lost. So we are building from the ground up, and this is what the Black grassroots is all about. So, people don't have big network. I don't have a network. I don't have a lot of people who follow me. I have 33,000 followers on Medium who read my work, but it's not reflected in the claps. It's not reflected in viewership. So people are getting their information from a lot of different avenues, and people are using a lot of different people to filter information. And so we just have to be careful, but we also have to understand that, hey, we are doing something right, because they know they're losing viewers. They're losing viewers. They're trying to figure out where they're going, and they're trying to figure out why, so they can get them back. They're not going to be able to get us back because we already know what their game is, that mainstream media is not catering to us. They're catering to white people. So, there's no need for you to go back there. You can check in maybe once a month and see what's happening, but, you can watch MSNBC for 3 hours. You don't even have to watch for 3 hours. You can watch for 1 hour, and they repeat the same stuff on loop all day long. And it's, millions of other stories they could cover, and they don't. They don't tell you about what's happening in the world. They don't tell you about, what's happening, hardly any place. And there's hardly any good news. You used to watch news, and the news was good sometimes. Like, there's nothing good on the mainstream media anymore. There's just no need to watch it. So, I just want to talk to you about this Black media shuffling that's happening. See, Gayle King might be leaving the CBS Morning Show. Hoda Kotb might be leaving. I think it's NBC, whatever their morning show is. MSNBC is shuffling up their lineup. CNN is shuffling up their lineup. Everybody's trying to prepare for November 2022. Nobody knows what to anticipate, but they do know that Black people in particular are not watching the news. So just be cognizant that, there's a campaign to try to get you all to not leave. And if you're leaving, and if you found alternatives, good for you, because we need to. This is an hour that we need to protect ourselves, because nobody else is. So get the information you need for yourself, and just try to be well. That's all I got for you. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. Thank you so much for watching, and I have another video for y'all, but I'm going to do it shortly. So stay tuned, and I appreciate y'all.